Hello, my name's Julie from Camelia Crafts Designs and welcome to my new YouTube channel. It's been on its way, this channel, for about a year. I did a test video about a year ago and I got 8 subscribers I think and 2 likes, which is not bad considering the only video on it was a little pan round of my little craft room. Anyway, I've had quite a few people ask me on Instagram if I have a YouTube channel. And this is the thing that people ask me to show them how to make the most. So I'm going to show you how to make this little stacked pocket. It's quite simple. This particular one I do have for sale on my Etsy shop, if anyone's interested in it. It's been up for a couple of weeks, so it should be easy to find. This tutorial is going to be a little bit like a Blue Peter tutorial. I have made another one because I know not everyone has a sewing machine, and as you can see, this one I've stitched around the edges. So I did make another one very similar. It's exactly the same dimensions, which are, I did write it down so I don't forget. This pocket is 5 inches wide, which is 12.5 centimetres in English money, and 7.5 inches high, again 19 centimetres in English money. It does add a little bit of height on with this tab, excuse me, roughly about ½ inch. So it should fit in any standard A5 journal. It would fit in a slightly shorter journal with the tab sticking out of the top, which depending on the style of the journal you're making, you might want that. So like I said, you can make this if you've got a sewing machine or if you haven't. The one I'm going to make today, I'm not going to do the stitching around because I don't think stitching on camera is going to be the best thing for my first ever YouTube video. So I'll just pop this one to the side. I'll pop this one over here, it might still be in shot, and I'll show you what I use to make this. Now the bare bones of it, the base of it is made using one of these file folders, and these really are 2pence a bucket full from Amazon. I've had these quite a while. I think you can get them in packs from anything from 10 to 100. I seem to remember I bought 50 and I've got quite a lot left. I think I bought them about 18 months ago, but yeah, they're dead easy to get hold of. These are what we call file folders in the UK. I know the ones in America you've got all your fancy little tabs on, which I love. And I did get some, and I may get on to doing a project with those at some point. But for now, we're using the bog standard British, well, it's called buff, this colour, but to me it's craft. I would call this craft. If you bought craft card, this is the colour you'd hope to receive. Buff to me is usually more of a light brown. So anyway, as far as these are concerned, this is buff and this is what I use to make the first pocket. So I'll just grab my little trimmer and I'll show you. The first thing I do is I cut this down to 5 inches. It doesn't actually fit properly on my little trimmer, but if you've got one of these you'll know, or you may not know, the bottom does unhook, so you can still slide things in. So I'm going to line that up at just over 5 because if you can see it's not quite square. That side is square, that's going to be my starting point where the crease is. I'll just bob that back in, hold it and chop. So that's my 5 inches that way. I'm just going to cut a little bit off so that I can fit it in the trimmer more easily, and I just want to cut this side to just level it up basically, so we know that is now a true 5 inches and it's square. Now the first pocket, if you just bring this in for a second, it's about 2.5 that, so I'm just going to open that up, pop it back in my trimmer. You can do all this with scissors if you don't have a trimmer, but I'm really rubbish at cutting straight with scissors, so I use my trimmer. I put the crease at 2.5 and cut. So there's my pocket. I now need to make that 7.5 inches. I'm not getting big chompy trimmer out on camera, so I'm just gonna get my tea ruler and measure. Grab a pencil, pop a little mark there, 7.5 we said, didn't we? At 7.5, and just pop it back in the trimmer. Line my 7.5 mark up with the edge of the blade. Cut. There you go. Pop the trimmer away for now. Oh no, while we've got the trimmer out, we will make this other pocket. Now, we've already cut. This is the other piece. It's already cut to 5 inches wide. And we need it to go down below there a little bit. Especially if you're going to put little notches in, which this one I'm not going to. And I'm going to chop it off about there. So that's about there. Cut it off. That's going to be my pocket. There we go. Pop the trimmer to one side. Get rid of some of these little pieces. The ones I'm not going to use, I'll put straight in my rubbish box. The ones I'm going to use again, I'll just pop to one side. Put the ruler there. Put the pencil away. This is new. This is novel for me. Putting everything away. Ooh, novel. We'll not say that word again. We've heard that too much lately, haven't we? Right, so this is the base of my pocket. If you look, I'll get the one out I made earlier that I'm not stitching. I've just rounded the corners, so I've got one of these X-Punch corner trim. I've got loads of corner chompers. I'm really good at breaking them. I've broke one of these before. I've had 2 of the We Are Memory Keepers ones. Broke them twice. The second one I can still use at a pinch, but I'll use this. There you go. There you go. Nice rounded little corners. I don't want to round any of these corners. The next thing is to ink. Now when I'm using dark card, I tend to use the Distress Oxide. This one's Walnut Stain. I just seem to find the Distress Oxide inks show up better on dark card. So I'll just get quite a bit on my dauber. And I'm just going to ink around. If you don't like what this sounds like, just mute me. I said that to my kids. If you don't like the noise, put your headphones on, it'll mute me. I think they tend to do that when I'm telling them to tidy the rooms. And put the clothes ink wash pots and anything else. That is really hard work trying to get a pair of 13-year-olds to do. That's it. I'm never too perfect with me inking. I like it a bit rough and ready. Do the top edge of that. When I'm not stitching, I do tend to put a little bit more ink on. I like how it defines the edges, and I think you can get away with a little bit more if you're not stitching. Right, we'll then do the pocket. This card does, sometimes it seems to be a different colour on both sides. I can hardly tell, especially in electric light. I ain't got a clue. So we'll ink that one. There we go, quite happy with that. And then we're just going to glue it down. I don't put any gussets on the edge of these pockets because it's to go in a junk journal. It's already going to be quite a chunky little piece of ephemera, shall we say. But even though we've got quite a lot in this one, if you look at it sideways on, it's still got quite a slim profile, so you can just bob it in your junk journal. I tend to bob these in with a clip at the top, a clip at the side. Sometimes I will glue it in. You can glue it in on 3 sides to give yourself a pocket at one side, whichever side you want to put it in your journal. You could even just glue 2 sides to give yourself quite a big pocket to put something big behind. It's up to you really, or just leave it floating. Pop that over there again. So back to this one, gluing time. I'm going to use art glitter glue on this. It is a really good glue. It dries really quickly. It doesn't wrinkle your card and paper. It is quite expensive though, so I only use it when I can't really use any other glue, when a cheaper glue won't do, shall we say. I would probably use this glue if I were not on camera. Oh, it's nearly rubbed out. This is Tonic tacky glue. At the moment, I think this is available again on Every Crafts a Pound, which I know they've changed the name recently, but I'm not sure what to. If you Google Every Crafts a Pound, they do come up, and that is a really good glue. If you put a lot on, or you glue in large areas, you might get a little bit of wrinkling, but it sticks really well. It just takes a little bit longer to dry than this art glitter. So I will do the art glitter today, just to make sure it dries nice and quick. So first thing I'm going to do is glue this pocket. And I'll just put it roughly where I want it. When I'm happy with the depth, I'm just going to put a little glue mark there to know that's where I want it to go up to. I'll then bob some glue on these edges, a little bit more than I would do if I were going to stitch, because I don't want these coming apart when you start putting your ephemera in them. Right, I'll just pull that down, pop that up to where the glue mark is, just gently lay it down until I'm quite happy that it's straight and that's where I want it. There's a little bit sticking out there, so I'm not sure if it is straight. Is it? Straight enough for me. Because this glue is very, very good and the card is quite porous, you shouldn't need to use your bone folder. If you do, just make sure you don't have glue squidging out. In fact, let me grab my bone folder and I'll burnish it. Oh, that were good, no squidging. I didn't go overboard with my glue. On the other side, oh, is that a tiny bit of squidging? I'll just wipe that off with a baby wipe. Or what I do, I'm trying to be a little bit environmentally friendly and save myself a bit of coin. I have one of these microfiber cloths. I keep it damp in a little tub on my desk. I put it in a tub because I have had quite a few disasters. Oops, I've just squeezed some of the water out onto my card. Yeah, I've had a few disasters by leaving it on my desk, putting projects on it and ruining them. So we'll put that away, we'll stop squeezing water out, and we'll glue this bottom bit. I can waffle, can't I? So again, 2 little bits of glue, that's that side, and along that. I'm just going to put a little bit more on that side because, yeah, like I say again, we're not stitching this, so we don't want it bobbing open when we put our things in the pockets. Pop it down, just nice and lightly, let that glue start to grab. If you do come in too early with your bone folder, you will quite often have more squidging out than need be. But like I said, I'm not going to do this one with my bone folder, I'm just going to leave it and have a look if it's straight. I've got a tiny little bit sticking out there. I'll just grab my scissors. Oh, these are my Tim Holtz scissors, by the way, I love them. They're not cheap, again, but I think with scissors it really is a case of buy cheap, buy twice, is that it? Before I bought these a couple of years ago, every time I went in IKEA I'd buy a pack of 3 scissors. You know, they do these packs in 3 different sizes, and I can honestly say since I bought my Tim Holtz ones I've not bought any more IKEA scissors, so sorry about that, IKEA. But hey ho, they work really well for me. Right, we're now all glued together. If you look at the first one I showed you, the one I stitched, I've laid up 2 labels with a little bit of muslin and a little image from, I think that's My Porch Prints. I'll try and link that if I can work out how to do a link. It's my first video, remember. The second one I used a different one. I think, yeah, that is the EK Success, one of their label punchers, and then just a little piece of card that I've rounded the corners on and popped a little butterfly on at a jaunty angle. This one, however, I've got a couple of different ones. I've got my tab for the top cut out ready. It's slightly bigger than the others, but it doesn't matter. I've got one of those, and then I've got a different We Are Memory Keepers label punch, and I think I'm going to layer those together. Ooh, that's a bit stark white, isn't it? So I think I will I'll just use a bit of this. It's really handy, this stuff. You can get it off the back of, you know, if you use labels, they come on this kind of stuff. I think this one is actually from a piece of Heat and Bond. Wonderful stuff again. Does what it says on the tin. It bonds things with heat. I use that in quite a few different ways, which I'm hoping to show you in later videos. Now I'm going to use that to just take the starkness from this little, I think it's ivory. It's not bright white, it's not cream, it's ivory. So I'm just going to grab my little brush. Yep. I'm going to grab my Distress Oxide. Just get a little bit on. And I'm going to come in from the side first in case I've got a lot of ink on my brush. Then if you have, you get the edges darker than the middle. And it looks like you're meant to do it that way. There we go. A little bit more ink. A little bit more. It looks a little bit more aged now, a bit more vintage, a bit more antique. There you go. I think I'm quite happy with that. It's not even, but I wasn't going for even. Then I'm going to grab my other dauber. I'm just going to do a little bit more inking around the edge. I go ink mad me sometimes. I'm happy with that. I'll grab my little fancy label. I'll do it that way. And I'll just ink around that. As you can see, I've used 3 different ways of layering on all these 3 stack pockets. So it doesn't matter which label you've got, whether you've got a label at all, you could collage. Sometimes, especially if I make them with book pages, I collage the bottoms of these. They don't have labels at all. In fact, labels is quite a new thing. Bob the lid on the ink, pop that away. That did have a pin. No idea where oh, there it is. Pop that in. Oh, this is awful when you've got old eyes. There we go. That's the pin in. 2 ink labels. Oh, I should have enough ink left on to just go around this green tab that I'm going to use for the top. The one I made that is full of ephemera, you can see I've made a couple of little bits of ephemera with tabs on. I've done one with a green tab, put some green tickets in, there's a bit of green on the butterfly, it just pulls it all in. Because green is not actually the predominant colour in that. It's very, I suppose it's very beigey with a few splashes of green, orange and yellow. And I just thought the green tab on the top looked good. So I've got all those 3 inked up. We bring our in progress pocket back. Pop that back out of the way. Now I'm going to stick this one on first. Then if I stick it on a bit wonky, I can make it sort of look straight by putting that one a bit straighter. I always layer up from the bottom. I don't know why. I think that is why. So it's easy to keep things straight. Oh, I do talk rubbish. Right, just bob me glue on. A little bit across the middle. Again, not too heavy because I know I said earlier this art glitter glue doesn't tend to wrinkle card and paper. If you go too mad with it, it still will. Alright, we'll try, that looks about in the middle again, just drop it down gently. That looks about straight. Just iron with the top, and this little crease from the file folder will help me. I'll just pat that down now. Then I'll take my little cream one, bob some glue on that. I hope I'm still in frame. Like I said, this is my first ever video. I'll probably turn the camera off and find it's blurry and garbled and you can't see or hear a thing. Hope not. We'll see, won't we? Obviously, if it is like that, you won't see it anyway. I'll do it again. Bob that on. That looks about right on that side, about right on that side. I do like how these 2 labels layer up. I've not used them for ages, to be honest. These are all my old card making things. I've made cards for years and then mini albums. I've always got to be crafting, doing something. But with the junk journals, it just feels like I've finally arrived. I suppose a lot of people who make junk journals will understand what I mean by that. There's a little bit of everything in there, so I quite like that. Now, I know I've put butterflies on the others, but I think that one's asking for a word. I don't know what word. I do, again, Blue Peter moment. I've got a little pot with words and numbers already cut out. So I'll just grab those, my little really useful pots. Now these ones are all ones that I've bought from Etsy, digital downloads. We've got the Tracy Fox ones, I've got some from Shabby Dabby Doodah. I have got some from other people and I cannot remember who they are at the moment. So if I remember, I will link them. So I've got those, and I've also got this little tub with words. Ooh, I think I just saw the word delicious, did I? Oh, delicate wings, delicate wings. Oh, that could go with, but oh, look at that. That was just made for it, wasn't it? I know that is from Kelly's Crafts by Kelly. That's another person whose labels I do have in this little box. She's a lovely lady. She has a group on Facebook. She's from Ireland and I really like her style. If I could make digitals, which I can't, they would look like Kelly's. Right, so I think that also needs a little bit of, can you see how I've put a little bit of muslin under that one? I'm going to grab a little bit for that. Like I said, normally I have a little tub on my desk with all these little things in, but I've moved them for this video. So 2 seconds. Oh, here we go. I've moved it, and I've moved it so well, I don't know where I've put it. But I think I have now found it. Here we go. No, that's not muslin. Here we go. Muslin, lace, bits and bobs. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, I'm going to use this. Now this, believe it or not, comes from a white school shirt. One of my friends messaged me and said, I've got these old school shirts, are they any good for you in your crafts? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do something with them. So I took this, and I'm not sure what colour I used. It was Distress Oxide, and I just dabbed a little bit onto my glass mat, sprayed it with a little bit of water, and dunked some pieces of this school shirt in, and it came out this gorgeous yellow colour. I seem to think it was wild honey, and I wasn't expecting yellow. I was expecting more of a, I don't know, perhaps a peachy tone, but no, I ended it with this. And I think a piece of this is going to look gorgeous under that word. Here we go, I've got a long piece. I'll cut from that. Pop those back. I'll just grab my slightly smaller Tim Holtz scissors. I do keep the covers on the little ones. I'm still quite chuffed with them. I want to keep them nice. Right, that. It's a little bit tall, isn't it? We'll cut it to the width we want. I'll bob that on. I'll just snip it, and then I'm going to tear it because it gives that lovely messy edge, which I really like. You can't go wrong. The length's going to be okay, but it's going to be a little bit too... I hope I can do this actually. You know, sometimes when you're just taking a small amount off, it's really difficult to tear. Is it going to work? Oh, I did it. Oh, I've amazed myself there. Go on, you can do it. Yo. Lots of little bits to pull off. If these were longer, I would save them, because sometimes they're really good to use under little fussy cut images or words. Right, just pop that on. Oh, I like that. I really like that. Pop my word on. You don't see a lot of the yellow, but you see all the little fluffy bits hanging out. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I'll just bob these little bits in the bin. Being really tidy again-ish, she says, looking at all these bits all over the desk. I'll put that away later. That's my favourite saying. Grab my glue again. I think first I will glue, I'll glue the fabric to the little word. So I'll put a tiny little bit of glitter glue on the back of this. And then I'll use this again. I don't want to get my new filming mat dirty. I've got a green one underneath. That's the one I normally use, and it's a bit messy. I've even rubbed away some of the grid lines. Just pop that on. Oh yeah, I do like that. Like I say, you don't see a lot of the yellow. It's just a little hint of it. Straighten that up a tiny bit. Yeah, I like that. So then I'm going to put some more glue on the other side and bob it on my stack pocket. Put a little bit more on because a lot of it is going to try and soak into the fabric. Pick up my pocket. Oh yeah, I do like that. I'm quite happy with that. I get really chuffed when I do something different and it looks good. Really weird. Right, I'll just bob that down. Now, as you can see, I've done a lot of layers of glue there, and it looks a little bit wonky. So what I would now do with this is I'd pop it under my green mat, and it will just flatten it out leave it there overnight probably. But first I'm going to show you what this looks like with some ephemera in. I'm going to transfer the ephemera from that pocket to this one, just so that you can see it looks just as good. Oh, we forgot something. My little green tab. Don't forget your little green tab. A little bit of glue. I say a little bit and then I put a load on. Turn that sideways. I can eye this up better sideways. I'm quite happy with that. Yep. And just squeeze it. Oh, I like that. I'll try not to knock that off now when I put this ephemera in. So we'll I'll put the big tag in. That's from a kit by Artie Mays, and it's just got a little bit of dyed seam binding on. I don't know whether I bought that or did it myself. I know I used to buy it and then I started doing my own, because I do have a lot of Distress Oxide inks from my card making days, so I may as well use one to pop that one in. Pop a few of these tickets in just for a little pop of colour. I'll put that one over there. We don't want it too near the other orange. These don't want to come out. Green. Again, I do sell these in my Etsy shop, by the way. That's why I have so many. Funnily enough, I've sold them for quite a long time and only just started using them, which is very strange. I've no idea why that is. Right, we'll put the others in. That's a little envelope made from an Edith Holden book page, just a little bit of collaging. One of those tickets, that is, from I think that's a Tracy Fox one from Love Junk Journals. Pop that in. That tag is definitely from the Love Junk Journals tag fabrication kit. An altered plain card. We've just put a little bit of sewing pattern paper, a little bit of straw paper. Again, I sell that in my Etsy shop. This is becoming an advert, isn't it? A bit of lace and another little fussy cut butterfly from either Tracy Fox or Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah. Or it could just be one I got from Graphics Fairy, to be honest. I have had Graphics Fairy subscription on and off. They do lots of graphics for you to print, for you to even do your own digital designs with, which I've tried and failed at doing. There's a little, I made my own little type of specimen card. It just is, I made it with dies. I used an oval die to cut that out. Or did I? Actually no, I just folded a piece of card and I rounded the corners with my corner rounder. I used my die cut for that, to cut the window in it. I could have done it both sides and put some transparent, some glassine, or what's it called, acetate, but I quite like that as it is. Another little ticket, pop that in there. This ticket is from a kit from Kelly's Crafts by Kelly. We'll pop that in, pop a few more of these in. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that, look. And all without any stitching. I know we've got a couple of stitch ephemera pieces, but in fact this one I did stitch around over where the stitching is on the digital. They come with the stitching on the digital already. It's a really nice kit. Anyway, that's my first tutorial. I really hope I didn't waffle too much for you. I have been very nervous. I've got through it. I might now go and lay down in a dark room and yeah, go and lay down in a dark room. So thank you ever so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, give me a like. Any constructive criticism is welcome. That's how we learn, isn't it? And I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you very much. Thanks, bye.